to share some fun things that we have done. So our presentation is Work Smarter, Not Harder, Harnessing AI to Revolutionize Open Educational Resources. I'm Laura Schwartz, and I teach at MSU Mankato in the RN to Baccalaureate Completion program. So students in my program are all 100% online. They're nurses with associate degrees that are going back for bachelor's. And Nancy Ruth.
Hi, I'm Nancy Ruth Leibold, and I am a nurse and teach in the School of Nursing at Minnesota State University Mankato. I work predominantly in the RN to BS program, but I also teach a class in health informatics in the DNP program.
So welcome everyone. It's about 50 degrees in Minnesota. Usually it's colder, around 35 degrees Fahrenheit here. I don't know what that is Celsius, but cold, but warm for us at 50 degrees. Let's see if I can get my slides to advance. Oh, goodness. Okay. There we go. So we have we're not endorsing any company or product. We'll talk about a few in this presentation, and we have no conflicts of interest.
These are our learning objectives for this program to describe how AI can be used to overcome challenges and some of the uses in education and how to create OER content using AI and some of the challenges when you try to.
So just a quote from Steve Jobs, innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not as a threat. So we're trying to make it, I guess, a little bit more inviting and fun. I think it's fun to use AI in creating OERs.
Okay, so we want to talk about some of the challenges, or did we go past through too fast through one? Oh,
I don't think so.
okay. Mine's showing different than this, the order I have. Okay, that's all right. So time and effort, a lot of tools can be used to create content in a very quick time. And so you can save a lot of time. We're going to talk about some of those tips. It does take some technical skills, and sometimes there's a little bit of a learning curve when you're using some of them, so it takes you a little bit. And then licensing and copywriting, it helps if you know Creative Commons, but you can create things like that are copyright free, like photos and images. We do a lot of that kind of stuff in our OERs that we create, and so that's really kind of fun. And you can find more things and personalize them and use it to tag OERs to make them easier to find in repositories. And AI can track changes in the subject matter, and also it can help you with suggesting changes to OER content.
So using AI to help you overcome the challenges. So time and effort, it takes a lot of time to create things like quizzes and multimedia and images. I remember searching for hours for just the right picture to use for something. And now AI can do it in just seconds if I type in the right thing. Technical skills, not everyone has the technical skills to create interactive content, and AI can help with that. For example, tools like Canva. Have you heard of Canva? It's a wonderful tool. It has a lot of free features. You can subscribe to more, but it can help you make more visually engaging content. And copyright, it can generate citations for you and also detect plagiarism. I've actually used it to detect plagiarism in my students' works. And things like generating photos that are copyright free. It's really hard to find copyright free photos on the internet. And discoverability, it can help you find OERs more efficiently. They're not always listed out there in a single repository. And then sustainability, it can help you track the changes over time so that you can update your OERs as things in your field progress. Oh, and since I created this photo, I'm just going to say a little bit about it. So I needed a photo um, for an assignment that asked nursing students, these associate degree nurses, to create a teaching scenario to demonstrate how to change a dressing on a central line. And I think this would have taken me hours and hours. And I did look a little bit and found nothing. And I asked AI to create a scenario of this. And on one shot, this is what it came up with, this mannequin with these three nurses here. And it's just perfectly what I needed.
But there can be some drawbacks when you go to create pictures. And so here's just some examples. Sometimes it'll take several times to get the exact picture, but sometimes you do get it on one try. Um, so it's kind of we refer to these as hallucinations because if you try to get a picture, the one on the left is of humans, and these don't really look like human beings, but that's what showed up. So you can get weird looking people, and so the one on the right hand side is an extra arm. The person, it just showed an extra arm on the person. So they can have these things that happen. Why does it happen? It draws things from the internet. And so what it sees on the internet is what it knows. And so it sometimes is kind of difficult to get those perfect pictures that are exactly what you're looking for. But you can try. Sometimes if you change your narrative, your word description, when you're telling AI to create something, you might get something better. And these were both used or came from OpenAI.
Yeah, so one more example. I had a picture of two nurses sitting at a computer, and it was so strange because one was typing on the keyboard and the other one was running the mouse. And that was just so odd. In real life, you wouldn't have a person running the mouse for somebody else, but it knows faces better than it knows arms and legs and bodies, and so it often those things aren't as good as they can be. But I've noticed even in the past couple weeks, it seems a little bit better. So another hallucination. This was from, I believe, ChatGPT. I'm not seeing. I gotta move it on the bottom of. Oh no, yeah, I think it's ChatGPT is what I used to create this. And so it's got these weird words. It doesn't know how to spell. So you could use the more advanced Chat GPT to fix those things, but it's just not really very good at posters and infographics like this quite yet. Okay, and again, this will not progress. There we go.
There you go. Okay, so one thing you can do with AI that's really kind of fun is make videos using AI. And most of them are really short. Even I have a paid account and it's short. You still can only do 2-minute videos. Um, and so here's just some examples that you can try. And most of these you can go and try them for free, and you can get a limited for free subscription with them. So Synthesia is one of them, and this one really is a pretty. Laura's going to give you an example of one she made using this software, and it's a really nice video. Um, and then Canva's got another one. Even if you have a free Canva account, you can get any new stuff. If you have a paid account, you get more, perks. You get more options for the person. You in Canva, you can even upload your own image, and it will move your mouth and talk like whatever text you type into for the audio. And so Create Studio is another one. That one does 3D animated videos and it uses cartoon characters. So, and then Rest Feature is another one where you can clone your voice. And I was just reading, Matthew says that not just AI does this, two people on one keyboard trying to stop hackers. So,
Yeah, it's a ridiculous video clip. I didn't mean to interrupt your presentation. I'm sorry. It
oh,
was just
that's
something for people
okay.
to do later. But it could be that AI is getting that information because it's not just AI. They do it in TV shows all the time. Weird stuff that doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
All right. And I heard Respeecher was actually used to make a young Luke Skywalker, like the voice, so that the voice matched like the face, but to have it younger, and that's really cool. That was actually used for the movie, the new Star Wars movie. Okay, so let's see if I can get this to open right without having to close PowerPoint. This is an example created in Synthesia. And basically what I did was I took the text, which was the abstract for this presentation, and just cut and paste it into here. And this is free.
The advent of artificial intelligence, AI, has revolutionized the development of open educational resources, OER, enabling educators to create, curate, and customize high-quality learning materials with unprecedented efficiency. Creating just one OER can take countless hours and energy. This presentation explores innovative AI tools and techniques that empower educators to design OERs tailored to diverse learning needs. We will explore content we have created to engage learners in multimedia resources. Through case studies, we highlight successful implementations of AI in various educational contexts.
Okay, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you can see she looks really realistic, doesn't she? And you can change the voices and you can change the background, and it actually automatically somehow took the logo from Minnesota State Mankato and plugged it in there. And Nancy Ruth reminded me the one thing that I forgot to do, which I encourage you to do, is make sure you put your name on that if you're going to make one of these videos, so that you give yourself credit for that work.
So there are some good things that you can do with AI. It really helps save time. And one is if you want to create some learning outcomes that you can use, you can just paste some text into Copilot. And this is what Laura pasted it in. You are an experienced critical care nurse who has agreed to lead a 1-hour professional development session on advanced IV therapy techniques, including central line care, CHG bathing, and troubleshooting common issues. And so then now we're going to show you what happened.
So this is what AI generated for me. And when I pasted it into PowerPoint, it actually made it look even more pretty. So, you're just kind of combining tools, the AI that is incorporated into PowerPoint, just to make this, the bold things stand out, proper techniques, and then it explains troubleshooting, explains, communicate best practices. So this is just a couple seconds worth of just plugging in that scenario, and it knew what to create. Amazing.
Okay, so you can also create rubrics for your courses. And but I'll caution you, when you create a rubric, it's not the final rubric you want to use. You do want to proofread it and edit it. Sometimes AI doesn't make it as detailed as what you really want it, or it might choose a verb that wouldn't be the verb you would choose. So those kinds of things you have to watch. And so this was done in Copilot, and this one was we was told to create the scenario we just talked about and outcomes and come up with this rubric. And so again, we recommend that you would tailor this, edit proof, and edit it and change it to make it better, and to be really careful with that, because sometimes there are some content errors that we've been finding.
Yeah, so I would actually, for this one, I would probably add points, so that students know what points align with each criterion. And then generating sources. So I asked Copilot on February 2nd to generate 3 APA articles that could be used, or sorry, yeah, professional journal articles for central care in APA format. And it gave me these references. They're pretty old because I didn't ask it for a date range, and they are actually real ones, however, and you do need to check for that. So that's demonstrated here.
And on this slide, you'll sometimes AI confabulates data or sources, so you have to really be careful. this one is the DOI does not exist. And so none of the three were accurate. They all had some kind of errors. If you just look superficially, they look perfect, but they're really not if you look at the details. The DOI wasn't accurate, and the article was found using a search of the title. However, the year it was published was 2015, not 2020, and the other information was correct.
Oops, not too far. Okay, so here's another example. I won't spend too much time on this, but again, the DOI on this one didn't exist, and it led to a different journal article and not the one listed. And a Google search of the title cannot find it. I didn't find the author, and I didn't find the clinical infectious diseases. But a pro tip is if you are teaching, you can find if it looks like students' content is AI generated or you come up with that, chances are if you go to the reference list and you look for these articles, they don't exist. So it's an easy way to catch students. Without saying that they used AI, you just say you confabulated or made up, fictitious references.
So you can also feed in a situation, and we use the same scenario, and ask AI to give you a test question. So this was done with Copilot, and this is what was received. So this is a multiple choice question. And the thing is, you have to really watch the subject matter. There could be errors in it. And what about context? Because the context of this is if it's a new central line site, it's a different type of dressing that is not left on for more than 48 hours. But if it's a long-term site they're going to have, it's usually a transparent dressing in 7 days. So you'd get confused by that if you were a nurse reading this, because it doesn't include context. So that's just an example of how the detail can be. So you may have to add clarity and modify the question a little bit to make sure it's right. And the other thing you can do is check the question is at the right Bloom's taxonomy verb for what you're trying to ask and evaluate.
Yeah, so that leads perfectly into the next one, the drawbacks. I actually asked Copilot, what are the drawbacks? And it told me quality and relevance. So the test questions might not align with the objectives you're trying to do. And they don't necessarily add, what the human educator can do for the depth. And then lack of clarity and creativity. So what Nancy Ruth said, it might produce something higher or lower on Bloom's taxonomy. So, feeding it something, I want a behavioral outcome, or I want this to be at a higher level of application, telling it that, or maybe the question's too hard. It's application and you're only looking for basic knowledge. So just knowing, what you feed it. And bias and fairness, depending on what you type in, it can actually introduce things that are not fair to students or not inclusive. So checking with that. Technical issues, making sure that what you generate aligns with your system. So we use desire to learn, for example. So you could say, create these questions so that it can go into desire to learn, or so that it goes into soft chalk without having to reformat a bunch of stuff so that you save time. And then over reliance on technology. So we're teachers, right? We're the experts. We're the content experts, and we don't want to take away, that from ourselves. And then ethical things. Of course, you always want to make sure that you don't put something in there that's proprietary because you don't want to get sued. Important to know.
Okay, so for attribution, these are the considerations, and we nurses use APA, so we kind of talk the APA language. So if you use another format, you can just kind of adapt it to what you might do. But we would This is still pretty new, and so a lot of searches are not really retrievable, and we can't attribute content to personal communication, um, nor can we do it without citing. We can't attribute ourselves by not citing. And so this one was Chat GPT generated text when there's no person communicating. And it quotes the text from Chat GPT. So that's what this is. And you can see it's kind of an algorithm format that it gives you. And for more information, there is more about this on the APA website about how to cite Chat GPT. So this is just one example.
So what's next on the horizon? So we're probably all the most familiar with ChatGPT. I'm thinking also probably Copilot. But what else is on the horizon? We have ChatGPT that took a long time, years and years and years to develop, and then we have DeepSeek that took just months and a lot less expensive. Why? Because DeepSeek actually took information from other um, other AI large language models to pull it in, whereas when these large language models were first created, they didn't have that. They were just pulling from the internet. So philosophically, is AI DeepSeek, let's say for example, taking content from ChatGPT, is that intellectual property or no? That's a question I ask myself. I don't know. And what else is going to happen um, with this? So just something to ponder on a little bit. And then because we quoted Steve Jobs, we need to be fair here and quote Bill Gates as well. So I pulled this one. We always overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. So don't let yourself be lulled into inaction. And that's by Bill Gates. And thank you. And do you have any questions for us?
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Nancy Ruth. There aren't any questions in the chat yet, but I actually have a couple. So you mentioned ChatGPT and Copilot in the presentation. Are there any other AI tools that are specific to nursing that you found better suited to develop OERs for your programs?
We love soft chalk. We use soft chalk a lot. It's kind of an expensive tool. We were able to get our university to purchase it for nursing because it can do so much for us. Again, we're not endorsing any specific product, but there are a lot of soft chalks that are nursing focused. A lot of them Dr. Leibold has actually created. She is the whiz with soft chalk and open access. What else would you say, Nancy Ruth?
You know what? If you go into Canva, even if you have a free account, they have a section when you first go onto the login, you log into Canva, and then you can look at their apps. They'll have a long list of apps you can use, and a lot of them will just give you a trial. So, like, you might be able to make 3 videos out of a certain thing, and then they'll want you to either pay or wait a month before you make any more. But still you can make a few free and then move on to the next app. And so you might go in there. There's a long list of them. It's more than I could name. And just check them out because they're all free and you can trial them. Yeah.
Great tips. Thank you both. We've got a couple more questions. So this one's from Dulcie Maria Estevez. If I have content that I ask ChatGPT to simplify or improve comprehensibility, is this input shared with other users without citing me?
Well, I wouldn't trust anything they cite, because sometimes they cite sources and you go and read the source, and what was supposedly that they're citing doesn't match up with what's in that article or at all. So I wouldn't, I think that's I probably not, but it's a shot in the dark, I think, at this point. What do you think, Laura?
Yeah, I agree. We were making a mentoring handbook for our new faculty, and our chair asked it to do some things, and she thought the list was pretty good for mentoring, the points to cover in mentoring. So she kept that, but none of the references, not a single one existed.
So, anything. So, Dulcie Maria was talking about referring to her rights as an author. So, it's so can you so if ChatGPT shares it, and can they not cite her, like if she's developed it? I think that's what she might be asking.
I've actually wondered that. I don't use Chat GPT as much as I use Copilot, and I've put in stuff into Copilot that I've written or in a research group I've written, and I put it in there, and then I can ask it the next day if a question to see if it remembered it, and it
Yep.
doesn't know anything about it.
The
Okay.
new
Oh,
copyright law says that you can, if it's checked by a human, you can copyright it for yourself. Only,
right.
but only if it's double checked by a human.
Okay. Wow, interesting. All right, thank you. I've got another question from Melissa Arling. I'm so new to this. How do you create AI accounts as an individual or through your educational institution?
I do it as an individual, but I use my work email address just so I keep things straight. Otherwise, I forget which email did I use. So I just default to the work one because it's for work that I'm using it.
Yep. And do you use so you talked about soft chalk, and that's through your organization, so you don't have to pay a subscription, it's through the org?
Correct.
Great. One more question. Have you created any virtual simulations using AI or know about any AI programs that can do this?
Nancy Ruth, that's for you.
Um, Not that I thought were very good. I've tried questions, and maybe I've gotten it there where I've gotten a few more ideas from asking Copilot, but I haven't seen that. Has anybody here in the room seen that?
Matthew Heath Van Horn says he wrote a whole website using AI. Wow.
Did you write a virtual sim? Oh, yeah.
No.
See that?
That's the website. That's fantastic.
That is great. That's wonderful.
How long did it take you? Oh, 3 days.
Great. Okay.
Um,
Gosh.
so it's hard to explain. Sorry, I forgot I had a audio. Like, um, so we had to have a website that was hackable by people, and so I just said, well, let's try it with ChatGPT, and then it kept making it so secure. We had to keep going. No, no, take these protections off. No, no, take these protect because we want them to attack the site. And so it took us a while to finagle it, but really, I mean, when I asked people to actually try it, they thought it was a real website and they refused to try hacking it because they didn't want to go to jail. I said, no, no, this site was built for you to hack. It's okay. But yeah, so AI did a really good job on that. I'm interested about the simulation thing myself because because I didn't think I could build a website that was believable, and I might put that under my summer tasks for fun.
Hmm, great.
Well,
Thanks,
reach
Matthew.
out. If you make it, let us know how.
Thanks. So, and Dana just wanted to add, they have used it to revise slide content that they already created for easier to understand terms and clarity. So there's another good tip. So we're at time. So thank you both very much. Thank you, Nancy Ruth. Thank you, Laura. That was really interesting. And I feel like you've given us some really good tools to move forward and a bit more confident. So thank you. We've now got a 10-minute break. So everyone, we can come back at 1:45. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Pippa.